Welcome everyone to the World Team Championship Final for 2010. It is the Slovak Republic against Australia. Rich Hagan, Brian David Marshall bringing you all the action, and simultaneously, it's like synchronized swimming, 3 players from the Slovak Republic kick off. Jurkovic nearest us in extended, Floch in the middle in legacy, far end Patrik Surab with standard. That is how it shapes up. Their opponents then are Team Australia. And they consist of Jeremy Neeman playing up against Robert Jurkovic in extended. You can just see at the back there Adam Witton, the national champion, playing legacy against even Floch. And then at the far end, Ian Wood plays standard with Elves. We are going to kick off in extended, and that means Jurkovic and Jeremy Neeman, who you can see on your screen there. Neeman in the black on the left of your screen will be Robert Jurkovic. On the right will be Jeremy Neeman, and Neeman opens with an island.
And that's following an open by Jurkovic with a Thoughtseize, which took Pyromancer's Ascension, the titular card from this deck. He also saw Lightning Bolt, he saw Sea Beyond, he saw Metamorphose. But, you know, it's hard for the Pyromancer's Ascension deck to win without Pyromancer's Ascension.
Is that how Pyromancer's Ascension decks work, with Pyromancer's Ascension?
That's their key win condition.
Why do you call the deck Pyromancer's Ascension? Has Kelly signed off on that one?
Yes, he has.
Okay.
He's comfortable with that.
So, Neeman goes for Preordain. We've seen plenty of that here this weekend. Jurkovic.
These upside down cards.
Yep. Land number 2, pass the turn.
Mutavault, no Bitter Blossom.
Land number 2. That'll be Cascade Bluffs. Metamorphose.
Metamorphose, draw card.
I love little cards like that. You know, they don't intrinsically win games. They're not flashy. They're just kind of cool.
Yeah. Metamorphose into Sea Beyond. Get to dig 3 cards deep into your deck this turn.
It's got a Ponder, Pyromancer's Ascension, Mana Leak, Lightning Bolt.
Sea Beyond is going to be Broken Ambitioned.
So we have the Clash.
We're going to lose the Clash.
Bottom.
Put it on the bottom. Neeman's like,
We'll leave the land on top. It's going to just get pushed away anyway.
Yep.
Nope.
No, he's going to send it, and then Broken Ambitions gets rid of Island, Lightning Bolt, Ponder, Mountain.
Guess maybe he wanted more cards in his yard for when the Pyromancer's Ascension resolves.
Sure.
Thoughtseize.
So there's the hand that we already knew about, but Jurkovic did not, and now he knows that he's dodged the bullet of the second Pyromancer's Ascension of the match. All these games best of 3, remember? It's just like standard Magic that you'd play at your local Friday Night Magic, for example. It's not best of 5, best of 3 in each of them, and as long as 2 players win, that is the ball game. The third match, if it's 2-0, will not get played out.
Get in there with a Mutavault.
Plenty of information as we go along with Shard from the other tables, please.
Ponders. So it sounds like we've resolved a Ether Vial
Right.
against the counterbalance top deck.
All right, so this is the Merfolk of Adam Witton in Legacy for Australia.
So that pretty much we can you could just mark a 1 next to Adam Witton's name right now.
Really, is that
Yeah,
how
that's
it works?
pretty much how it works.
Ether Vial GG.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, oh, you know that counterbalance top you'd like to use to counter all my creatures and spells?
Yeah, I'm never casting
Good
them.
luck. Good luck with that.
Okay. Neeman at 15 now. Jurkovic has Smother. Land.
Scion of Una.
Mm-hmm. That's the all the fairies +1/+1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cards 3, 4, 5, 5. Okay.
Sounds like Ian Wood, meanwhile, in Standard. That's Elves, where he wants to put a whole ton of creatures onto the battlefield. He's struggling to keep them there. Sounds like things like Doomblade, Disfigure maybe, from Patrik Surab, his Slovak opponent, are making things a little bit awkward for Ian trying to get his Elves assembled.
Speaking of trying to get things assembled, Neeman is looking to get off of 2 lands here.
Jeremy Neeman, a terrific Australian player. It's top 8 the last 3 years of Nationals. His first came to prominence in Sydney in 2006 when he made the top 8 of a Grand Prix. And then, of course, he is a Premier Event winner this year when he returned to Sydney and won the Grand Prix there.
Jurkovic is just happily getting in with Mutavault. Sort of pecking away. There's a 3rd land for Neeman. Neeman has in trouble finding Pyromancer's Ascensions, which is usually the downfall of this deck, is you get all your card draw and all your other stuff, but you can't find your Pyromancer's Ascension. Here he's just having a problem getting them to stick around.
Yep.
He's seen
two
at his hand,
already gone.
and he's seen the other 2. He's seen all 4 of them at this point.
Oh, I guess it only takes 1.
Correct.
So although 2 are gone, 2 remain. Alternate route to victory presumably is 4 lightning bolts and 4 burst lightning kicked. Something like that, along those lines.
Along those lines. It's a little easier when you have the Ascension in play.
Yes, I can see that. Manamorphose. Even Floch has gone for Moat, saying, your guys can't attack me, but that has not resolved. I had Force of Will dealing with that one. I love Force of Will so much.
Jurkovic attempts Scion of Una. If you look at Jeremy Neeman's sideboard, he's got a slightly different deck. After we saw, I believe the Germans were playing this deck, or a version of this deck in Pro Tour Amsterdam.
Sure.
With the Pestermite Splinter Twin package in their sideboard.
Well, when we have 10 minutes, perhaps you could gently explain to me and the viewers at home quite how the Pestermite Splinter Twin combo works. It's pretty cheeky, to be fair. In fact, it's kiki-jeeky cheeky, isn't it, really? I'm sorry, I said that out loud.
You're going to have to put $1 in the pun jar.
Sounds to me like Ian Wood is really struggling in Standard, having struggled to get initially a bunch of creatures down. Sounds like Surab is now the man with creatures in play, and as we know from the blue-black through the day, we're learning that creatures mean Seagate Oracles, or more likely, Grave Titan plus friends. So that is looking very good for Patrik Surab over Ian Wood in Game 1. And indeed, Surab leads by 1-0. So that is 1-0 to the Slovak Republic in that match. Ian Wood will need to come back to take 2-1. We believe that there is an Australian match in the bank, which is Legacy Merfolk defeating Countertop, although it is still 0-0 in that one, and nothing in Magic is certain.
No, having watched it,
and having watched Matinur against Palavida Dama de Rosa in their 3rd game, you don't need much of a lesson to see just how nothing is certain.
Well, one of the interesting things about the team format is you'll see these players lean over and give some advice to their teammates. And, you know, you're not normally allowed to actually receive any kind of assistance, but in the team formats, it is a part of the game.
Absolutely. Burst Lightning, by the way, taking out Mutavault. Neeman removes the threat. And now he offers up Pyromancer's Ascension. Jurkovic will Mana Leak that, and of course, because there are difficulties for Neeman on mana, he's struggling. He has Mana Leak back the other way, but Jurkovic uses his second Mana Leak, and that is a counterspell won well and truly by the Slovak man. At which point, 1, 2, 3 Pyromancer's Ascension are in Jeremy Neeman's graveyard.
Oh, there's...
No.
Oh. That's quite sporting of Jurkovic. If he didn't see what those are, that's quite sporting of him. Because when Vendilion Click hits play,
Yep.
it is not automatic that you're going to show your opponent your hand.
No.
It could be either player.
Pyromancer's Ascension is in.
Bitter Blossom is in. It's the battle of the two-mana enchantments.
Okay.
Okay, attack with
6.
Vendilion Click and Creeping
The
Tar
Creeping
Pit.
Tar Pit, and that's 6, which halves Neeman's life total. From 12 down to 6. Jurkovic pressing. Neeman passes.
Not quite sure he can get there. He's spent all this energy to get Pyromancer's Ascension out, but he doesn't have anything left to do with it.
Indeed. It looks like he's flicking around just 2 cards. And meanwhile, Jurkovic has plenty of attacking options. And incidentally, Jurkovic is a very sporting individual. He's a terrific guy. Seems very taciturn at the table and,
Certainly does.
and very serious, and doesn't have a huge amount of English. You know, so a quiet guy. Yeah, is one of those pros with a solid reputation that you don't need to watch yourself
I mean,
when you're playing
he
him,
could
you know.
very easily and justifiably have said, like, oh, don't show me that, but now I am going to target you.
And there we go. That is 1-0 to Robert Jurkovic. We saw all 4 Pyromancer's Ascensions, but we see 1-0 to Robert Jurkovic.
We're going to try to swing about between our matches and take a look at maybe take a look in on Legacy and
Yep.
see what Countertop versus Ether Vial looks like.
Yes, so that's Top, Brainstorm, Counterbalance, Force of Will, Swords, Plowshares, Enlightened Tutor, Jace the Mind Sculptor, Counterspell, Living Ring, Python Needle, Relic of Progenesis, Engineered Explosive Moat, Sword of the Meek, Thought Foundry, bunch of land, and you say availing for nothing, essentially, against the Vial.
Pretty much.
Okay, good to know.
I mean, certainly engineered explosives can do something. Certainly that one Python Needle can, you know, shut off the Ether Vial, but it's kind of a big deal.
There are the players in that middle match, the Legacy match. Both
Adam Witton in the background.
Indeed, 13 and 5 in the main event. A large part of the reason that Australia made it here to the final. And even Floch, his Legacy opponent from the Slovak Republic, playing countertop. There he is. To put it mildly, Matej Zatelkai was a little bit pleased about this lot making the final.
Well, they have a big rivalry with the Czech team.
And the Czech team, who, as you said earlier in the day, I kind of thought they were going to do it.
We didn't get much of a look there.
Well, we can stay here for a bit, can't we? We'll take a look at their second game, maybe let that kick off, and then maybe we'll head down to Standard in a little while. So let's stick with Floch and Witton, and so we'll stay here for that. And even Floch, he's multiple times he's been on the team. As BDM says, a rivalry with the Czech Republic team. The Czechs, I thought they were pretty much locked in last year. They were so impressive. Lukas Jaklovsky was part of the team last year. They got to the top 4 in a canter in Rome. They were pretty much home and hosed with 2 rounds to go. I was rereading some of the coverage last night from a year ago at Worlds, and they were utterly dominant, and it was a real head shaker when they didn't take home the whole prize. And I thought this year, the team with Lucas Blahon, Petra Nahadil, and David Doan as their legacy anchor, I thought would be tremendous. They were tremendous for about a day and 3 quarters, and they stunk the place out for about 3 rounds, but the 3 rounds were really early in Standard, and they just ran out of time.
They just couldn't climb out of that hole.
They just could not quite climb out of that hole.
So we see Adam Witton there looking at his sideboard, making some decisions. you know, trying to figure out what he can do to optimize his chances of getting into an ether vial.
Let's take a look at the top teams then, if we can. Not just these top two, but see how the rest of the top 10 rounded out.
Is this you bragging about the UK again?
No, not at all. Not at all. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and in 8th. No. So, Slovak Republic and Australia, 129, 123. Just missing out. Switzerland and the Czech Republic. Tremendous effort by Switzerland. They defeated the United Kingdom, in fact, early on day 3. Canada, tremendous performance by them. Quite a lot of Canadian players doing well, not just the team. Noah Long, I know you spoke to.
Yeah, Noah Long was doing very well. But that Canadian finish is really propelled by Pascal Menard 6-0ing extended with the Steel Artifact deck that we've been talking about.
Okay. 6th place, which turns out to be gigantic for Guillaume Matignon. He, along with his teammates Julian Perez and the 2005 Pro Tour LA champion Antoine Ruel, the Hall of Famer, 111 points between them. Enough for 3 pro points for Matignon and his teammates.
Interesting. You sort of prophesied about Antoine Ruel. I mean, he did not have a very strong tournament, and that's kind of the difference, really, between the French being in this, maybe even in this final.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those phenomenal players who won when they won because of the fire. And he's had a tremendous time with Magic in the last couple of years, but that's been about seeing places and people and savouring the lifestyle, and less about annihilating people into the ground with the best deck. Whereas in 2005, that was it. You could have put him on the moon. He'd have been like, all I want is a chair and a table.
Right. In 2005, he was playing circles around Kenji Samura in the top 8 of Hollywood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So our top 10 round out. Mexico, fair play to them. They were in contention and they held their nerve down the stretch. And that is a tremendous performance. I'm pretty certain that is their best ever finish. Well done to Joe Jackson from Scotland. Also to Richard Bland and Dan Gardner of the United Kingdom. Top 8, proverbially as it were. Of course, we had John Randall in the top 8. A terrific end to the year for the United Kingdom. Roll on 2011. And then 2 more. European nations, Finland and Austria. Round out the top 10. And what that works out at is a lot of European nations doing very well.
Absolutely, a lot of Eastern European nations.
So those are the top teams. I can tell you that the players are ready for their next game. So let's go back to the action. There's Witton in the background. And nearest camera you see even Floch.
I keep.
He's going to keep. Both players keep. So we are away in Legacy Game 2.
There's the Sensei's dividing top.
Live here on MagicTheGathering.com. Legacy action. Great to bring some to you. We know we've got a lot of Legacy fans around the world. We'd have loved a closer matchup for you. But we'll see how it resolves. Flooded Strand. Away we go.
And I think that this game and a match could be determined on the first turn here.
Really?
Yes, I do.
Have you had a little look at a hand?
I have.
Okay.
Watch how this plays out.
All right, let's. So
clearly,
there's a dual land.
Clearly, we're gonna counter this ether vial.
So there is an ether vial.
That is going to be met with Force of Will.
Yes.
I think I'll just pick up this land here.
There's Jace the Mind Sculptor gone away. Really? Days? Oh, no. Oh, boy. Oh.
So Witton is down to 3 cards.
Is he going to care?
I'm sorry, I meant Floch.
Floch has 4. Now,
After drawing, yeah.
Yep, after drawing. Thopter Foundry, Force of Will. And a stash in hand for Witton. Ugh.
He's going to play his Thopter Foundry here.
I'm at 18, right?
Turn 3 Vengevine for Ian Wood in the back table. That's standard. Remember that Surab leads 1-0 in that one. But turn 3 comes back the other way with a sideboarded in Vampire Nighthawk for Patrik Surab from the Slovak Republic. So 4-3 Vengevine faces 2-3 Death Touch, Lifelink Flying, all that good stuff.
Upkeep. Yep.
Upkeep, I'm going to top. I wonder
Yeah,
for me...
the match could be determined. I didn't say it would be fast.
Indeed. Countertop, such a feature we've extended at Pro Tour Valencia in 2007. That was everywhere. That eventually won by Remy Fortier, another Frenchman, as we wait for the World Championship final, which features 2 Frenchmen.
There's a curse catcher at the end of the turn.
Mm-hmm.
Put a second counter on my vial. There's a mutable.
Indeed. This Legacy format's very strange. All the lands come into play untapped. What's going on?
There's a Lord of Atlantis. Island walk you for 2.
Wait.
Even if you make a guy.
Here, you can attack.
Yeah, you can attack. And there's Swords to Plowshares.
Oh, that resolves.
I do love the art on that particular Swords to Plowshares.
Yeah.
It's, in a sense, truly iconic, the way they've done that one. I'll tell you, there's a Thoughtseize going on in Jurkovic's match up against Neeman, with Jurkovic already leading 1-0 over the Australian. Doesn't look like he's got rid of any Pyromancer's Ascensions yet.
You got to get rid of a volcanic fallout, which
yeah.
is not no small matter here in this matchup.
Indeed, because it's uncounterable to everything and everyone.
Yep.
Floch passes the turn.
Leaves it on 2.
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
There's another mutable.
No blocks, I guess. 3.
No blocks, I guess. I'd like some blocks.
So a reminder that Jurkovic leads Neeman 1-0 in extended. Surab leads Wood 1-0 in standard. Witton, here, leads Floch 1-0 in legacy. If it followed through this way, the Slovak Republic would be your team world champions for 2010.
A lot of interesting cards on top of the deck there for Floch.
Threads of Disloyalty.
Counterspell and Force of Will.
Yep.
And remember, if he needs 2 of those, he can flip his top.
The Slovak team were terrific to watch yesterday in the first couple of rounds before the extended. The way the team interacted with each other, it was a true team. It was good to see.
Okay.
Silver Gale Adept. Now we're up to 3 on the
vial.
Like I said at lunch, they'd kind of written this match off. And keep in mind, a moat could be kind of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be sort of, I think, all in on Coralhelm Commander as his win condition. He puts a Mirror Regery into play here, and nope. So this is when it activates Mutavault.
Mm-hmm. And suddenly there's a giant army piling into the red zone.
Oh, and there is a Regery.
Yep.
That's 3, 6, 9, 10, 11.
It's got to be tough when you battle all the way through 3 days, and you want to be Team World Champion, and you still could be, but you know that functionally you have very little that you can do to influence this.
Well, again, keep in mind he can't. There is stuff he can do. He can, lose this match relatively quickly, and then contribute his expertise to the other ongoing matches.
Indeed.
So So I'm at
So he's going to sacrifice the Sensei's Dividing Top to the Thopter Foundry, gain a life, make a token, draw a card.
You said quite a lot of good things there.
Yeah. And then he's going to cast in Latent Tutor, which is going to get dazed.
And that is the
He
handshake.
said, I think I'll go help my friends.
Yes, I'll go look at a match we might be able to win. So that is Legacy done. Adam Witton defeats Even Floch by 2-0. Merfolk comfortably in a good matchup over Counterbalance top. Let us move to Standard, because we want to get a look at the Elf deck of Ian Wood. And there you see Patrik Surab of the Slovak Republic. And the gentleman who made 30 points during the weekend in his first team here. Both his colleagues experienced. And already you see even Floch has come right into the match. And we're getting a little taste of Slovak, whatever language that is. I wonder if we could get simultaneous translation from Matej.
I wonder if he's helping or he's just telling him his bad beat story.
So
So he had turn one vial each game. There was nothing I could do. It was so terrible.
Yeah, and Surab's like, I'm trying to win the World Championship. Shut up. And still Floch carries on and Surab's like, concentrating. If I ignore him, maybe he'll go away.
I think what we heard was Slovak for bounce that stupid Vengevine and attack.
Yeah, we have Vampire Nighthawk in play, plus Jace the Mind Sculptor for Surab.
Or don't attack. Oh, there's a monument in play, so he bounced the Vengevine, so he'd be forced to sacrifice the elf.
So Surab is 1 to the good here. 1-0 up, needing to win because Australia are 1 win in the bank. Jurkovic is still 1-0 up over Jeremy Neeman. And as usual, these matches happening simultaneously, so we've got our eyes on multiple camera angles, multiple matches going on at once. We've got spotters on the floor. We'll try and keep you right at it. Surab is down to 2. Here comes Vengevine. Block. I'm on 4, you hear him say.
Let's get some death touch there, buddy. That Vengevine's dead.
It is.
Can I go?
I believe that Vengevine's supposed to be dead.
How does that work? So we're just stepping in to see whether in fact that Vengevine should be there.
Oh, there's the
have an answer?
monument. Monument. I can't see
There
the
we
monument.
go.
There you go.
It's off our screen, yeah. Curse that indestructible Vengevine.
Curse that monument that's tucked up there.
Seagate?
Seagate Oracle. You see Wood there in the background. Going, yeah. Well, Surab at 4, Wood at 18. Not a lot going on for Jeremy Neeman. Meanwhile, in the other game, nothing but land in play at the moment and quite a lot of stuff in the graveyard. Jeremy Neeman's hand has been systematically torn apart by Jurkovic with not 1, not 2, but 3 Thoughtseize. That's a good use of 6 life.
So we've bounced the token with Jace.
Yep. Which means that when the Eldrazi Monument upkeep comes around,
Yep.
that Vengevine will be gone.
Yes.
Will it be back? That is the question. Surab was in some pretty tricky spots yesterday. He was, seemed to me, just the way it fell out, that he was often the third match going of the three. So, you know, you require a certain temperament to be able to deal with that. The fact that you've got your teammates riding on you and giving you extra information that you wouldn't normally have in a game of Magic.
Okay.
Wood sacrifices the Ventrine, as he must, to the Monument.
So you have 2 creature spells to play.
He's having a good look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wolfbriar Elemental with multi-kicker. Is there a counter spell coming?
Almost certainly.
Yeah, it looks very much like, yep, there's Mana Leak. Says no.
Can I go?
Yes,
No,
your
no.
turn. Do you know, he was down to 2, but I do think that Patrik Surab is starting to get control of this one. And that would put the Slovak Republic in the box seat, because Jurkovic is 1-0 up over Neeman. Has red zone action. There's volcanic fallout from Neeman. I can tell you.
Off your screen.
Off screen.
Brainstorm? Yes.
And now, on screen, Floch decides to brainstorm off Jace the Mind Sculptor, sees another Mana Leak, sees another Jace the Mind Sculptor. And just as you said, BDM, ever since Floch lost the unwinnable matchup, he basically hasn't stopped talking. And we would like to presume that that's kind of good for them.
Sure. Now, who's the captain of the team?
It is Floch. Floch is the national champion, and Adam Witton is the national champion for Australia.
14.
Jurkovic in his 4th Worlds team, while Floch is in his 3rd.
And you said this is Surab's.
This is Surab opening up for the first time
so
at Worlds.
certainly looking forward to the advice of a more experienced player here.
One would think, yeah. So Ian Wood looks like he's going to have pretty much exactly the same turn as last turn. He's going to tap everything. It's going to be exactly the same turn as last turn, in fact, because the Wolfbriar Elemental with multi-kicker does not resolve Mana Leak again. Gets a plant from Calney Garden. Right now, it's 1-0 Australia. It doesn't feel like they're in a terribly good state, though. Bounce the token. Jace the Mind Sculptor goes away. That's one of the most miserable sights in Magic, because it means, you know, here comes another Jace the Mind Sculptor, ready to get going once again.
He's probably telling him to peek at the top of his deck. Get 5.
I'd like to look. I'd like to Fate Seal you. And Wood looking pretty imperturbable. He's certainly had a fun weekend. I chatted with him and Jeremy at Fate Seal you. Surab looks.
Says, what do you think?
Oh, I think that would go very well in my commander deck, says Floch. Yeah, but what about now in the Team World Championship final?
It's a Llanowar Elf.
Uh-huh.
He's like, I think we're fine with Llanowar Elf.
I think we can deal with him.
It's time to attack.
Creeping Tar Pit and Seagate Oracle go into the red zone. Ian Wood will drop from 14 down to 10.
And say go, because he'd like to get to 2 creatures for his Vengevine.
Yeah. He is running out of time. I think we are very close to 1-1 here. At which point, the game that we can see, and I'm sorry, but right now you can't, which is Neeman against Jurkovic, achieves the maximum pressure as Jurkovic attempts Bitter Blossom against Neeman, who is tapped out right now.
I believe he's going to be tapped out again on his upkeep. No. I thought maybe a Mistbind Click was in his future.
Looks like double Creeping Tar Pit, gone into action.
Go.
Smashed in past the turn.
Left C get Oracle back in case Vengevine makes an appearance.
Ian taps 3.
Okay.
Leatherback Baloth, is that? Llanowar Elf. Get back Vengevine.
Block.
Attack. Block. There's the handshake. So that is Patrik. Surab wins by 2-0. And let's get as quickly as we can to the front table, which is Robert Jurkovic against Jeremy Neeman for all the marbles and the Magic the Gathering Team World Championship for 2010.
Jurkovic has Bitter Blossom in play. Neeman has a lot of land, and he's resolving Sea Beyond at the moment.
So there is Neeman. Witton looking on from next door. You see the Australian and the Slovak Republic flags on the table. There is the situation. Bitter Blossom in play for Jurkovic on the left of screen. Neeman looking at Sea Beyond on the right of screen. Blue-red Pyromancer's Ascension. No joy in game 1. All 4 Pyromancer's Ascensions hit the graveyard.
10 is me. 10 is me. 10 is me. Yes.
Here, Jeremy saying he's at 10.
Yep. I don't know about 10 is me. Maybe woe is me. That Bitter Blossom, not good news.
And there's Floch now. Working with Jurkovic.
Just loves the cameras, like, I'll have my match, then I'll have your match, and then I'll come over here and have your match too.
Wonder if Surab will come over as well. Australian team's leaving Neeman pretty much alone. Well, just do your thing. He's the captain.
I mean, Witton, of course, is champion, but Neeman has a Grand Prix win this year. He's, as I say, last 3 top 8s at Nationals. Building on their second place. Will it be second place finish in just a few years for Australia? Of course, they narrowly lost out when Castry was around.
Yep, there's Patrik Surab.
So now the full
Join the
team of 3. Yeah.
3-headed giant over on the Slovak side of the table.
I mean, quite apart from anything else, when it's 3v1, only the 3 get to high 5.
Yeah, Jeremy's like, you in what army? He's like, well, right here.
But don't discount Jeremy when you do that at your peril.
Now a preordained.
Resolves. Neeman looking. There's a cryptic command in Jurkovic's hand right now. Looks like there's a mana leak as well.
I don't know. Pretty sure, because last turn I cast Jason Ingenuity and Ponder and Lightning Bolt, so I had 7 mana.
I can hear in this turn, so I don't know.
They're just checking that haven't laid a land.
While he determines which cards he wants to keep from on top or bottom from preordained.
There you see Jurkovic's hand from high above the arena.
See, Jurkovic's at 14. He's taken 6 from his Thought Seizes.
Indeed. Now here's Ponder. And looks like there is a Pyromancer's Ascension there. There is. Cryptic Command. Is that in there? So it looks like Neeman's going to try and set himself up for a few turns down the line, get himself some counterspell backup. He knows the Bitter Blossom is sitting there. And there's a potential scenario here where Jurkovic sends himself down essentially to somewhere around about the 10, maybe 9 mark before he would be lethal against Neeman. At which point Neeman doesn't have to do a whole bunch with Pyromancer's Ascension to just actually burn the face off.
Sure, Jurkovic, though, knows he doesn't have to. He always has the opportunity to misbind click away his tribal enchantment.
Sure. But right now, the Bitter Blossom is his win condition.
Certainly.
So he won't be doing that lightly. Mind you, as you say, if you got misbind click, that's also quite a good win condition. Fairies has just been so good. Seems a long time ago that we were watching Paul Chion do so well with Fairies.
And it's certainly been a hallmark of some of the best players of the game.
Yes.
You know, we've talked about Yuta Takahashi's dominance with it. Sam Black has, you know, many of his Pro Tour levels from the last couple of seasons have been acquired on the wings of Fairies.
Yep. I very clearly remember being at the pre-release before round 1 talking to Stuart Wright when Bitter Blossom came out. I said, so what are the important cards that are going to be in the new set? And he said, do you mean apart from Bitter Blossom? And he'd had his play set of Bitter Blossom by the end of the pre-release day. He knew what was coming.
Thinking.
And Jeremy sits there thinking, why did I take geography at school rather than Slovak? In fact, Matej Zatlkai from the Slovak Republic, who of course is a polyglot, speaks a bunch of different languages. He was talking about a Pro Tour recently where he was up against another European player who assumed that Matej didn't speak his language. And then at the end of the match, having listened to this litany of German or whatever it was through the match, Matej spoke to him in his opponent's language and said, thanks, it's been really interesting. A great hour I've had with you. Thanks so much. Have a great day. So...
Jeremy's trying to figure out, do I pull the trigger now? Or do I wait for a better turn?
Well, when does better come along? Ian looking over the shoulder of one of the judges. And in fact,
one of the
speaking
judges who says,
of the judges...
I know it's very difficult and there's a lot on the line, but you are going to need to make a play.
So, here we go. 2 mana, Pyromancer's Ascension. What are you doing about that? Can you do anything about that? There's Jeremy. He would dearly love this Pyromancer's Ascension to resolve.
I believe we've heard the Slovak term for spell stutter sprite.
I'm impressed with your language skills. I didn't pick that one up at all.
Well, just basing it on his hand.
Oh, the spell stutter sprite in his hand.
Yes.
Ah, I see.
Oh. First he's going to say, let's tap you out.
With misbind click. Well, what's he going to do? If I tap him down, if he's got a counter spell, then I can just do this. It'll be fine.
Load all of his mana?
Seems reasonable. There's the board, round and round and round we go. What a great shot. Bitter Blossom on the right, misbind click just played, and Neeman deep in thought now. Again, he's going to get himself in trouble on time here, because he's just been spoken to. This is where maybe you do want a little bit of team support.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, he's on his own here.
You know, it's not your fault. You do what you do. We stand or fall. It's not a problem. Be who you are. You're a good Magic player. Just do it. It resolves. Bitter Blossom gets championed.
Two red and 4 blue.
2 red and 4 blue in pool.
Resolve? Yeah. Trigger resolves.
Trigger resolves.
Kick. Trigger.
Burst Lightning
With kicker?
with kicker. Trigger. Spell Stutter Sprite.
Trigger. Yeah.
Trigger. Counter. Preordain. Trigger.
There's one of those in there.
2 counters on Pyromancer's Ascension.
6 mana.
He did float 6 mana.
So he has 1 mana left in his pool. No, or
No,
none.
he has none.
He has none left.
Burst Lightning with kicker and then Preordain.
Right.
Veľké komando, to vieme, no. Ten tu nemá, má. No, však ja mu to teraz vrátim.
Cryptic Command, Spell Pierce
No, to je bolo úplne
are the
crazy.
2 cards. There you see them. That's what Neeman is looking at.
Skardovák, ale... No, tak päť.
He's at 10,
Spell sťaťky. Všetko mu
so he has one more crack at this.
keďže bude na 3 životoch. To zase nikto nevie.
We are at 1-1 in the Team World Championship final.
Pushes them both.
Surab,
Prísni rozhodcovia.
a winner. Floch
Takže nedovčie.
lost
To je fakt.
the unwinnable match.
Vrátim, potiahnem, ne?
And now Jurkovic 1-0 up,
10.
trying to take it 2-0 to give the Slovak Republic the championship of the world.
Tak okej.
Cryptic Command.
A že nedovčie.
That should be.
Nedovčila. Je to tak.
In we go. Jeremy Neeman is down to 4. He untaps. This is the absolute last chance saloon.
To iba nabije, hej, proste, čo.
Are we about to see a hand across the table? Are we about to see 3 hands across the table?
To, že ma tapne.
Neeman arranges 8 mana. That's what stands between the Slovak Republic
Nemôže už. Nemôže.
and the title.
Nemôže to ešte. Nemôže.
China in 2009.
Sa mu podarí nabiť ascenciu, tak má nejakú šancu.
Who takes over the crown? Pyromancer's Ascension for 2. Answers from Jurkovic? How many cards? 4.
Asi neviem. Okay.
It resolves. Neeman now with 6 mana. There you see Jurkovic's hand. So close here in the dying minutes of the team final.
Dávate. Ten mi je na piču.
Cryptic Command and draw.
Tomu asi nechám vyhrať.
There is one there.
Čo ti poviem? Prečo?
There you see the Slovak side of the battlefield.
1 counter on Pyromancer's Ascension.
Hmm?
Aha, tak môžem mať iba Blesman, hej?
Jurkovic untaps.
12?
Goes to 12.
Risknem to?
And still Neeman fights away.
Či si potiahneme, ne? Aha, aká dovčila.
If nothing else, it's been a great rearguard action because remember, this is the game that began off camera with Jurkovic spending 6 life for triple Thoughtseize.
Unfortunately, like unlike the standard version of this, there's no time warps. There's no ability to just say, "I'm never giving you the game back. I'm just going to beat you over the next infinite amount of turns."
Yeah.
Tak akože proste prejdem za 2? Ja čakám. Máme kopec času. Ideme zadarmo.
Potom aj tebe názvo, všetky tie útoky, keď sa tapnete, stavno, že to vaše, to je také.
Public service announcement to the arena. If you're sitting near Matej Zatlkar, you might want to give himself a little bit of space sometime quite soon.
Neeman.
In we go. Spellstutter, Sprite, and the Fairy.
There may be something
Neeman
happening
to
during his
2.
upkeep.
Upkeep. I would like to click you. That's going to be mana leaked.
Čo teraz?
Chceš zaplatiť stále. To je jedno, či do ďalšieho Neemana. Ešte dobre.
Jurkovic looks like he's going to pay.
Čo mám robiť?
Doplať si podľa mňa všetko.
No, podľa mňa tiež.
Is there a trigger? He does pay.
He pays. Neeman shakes the hand, and the Slovak Republic are the world champions of Magic for 2010. Even Floch, Robert Jurkovic, and Patrik Surab. There you see Floch and Jurkovic shaking hands. The ever-affable Jurkovic just doesn't get excited by much, but they have won. Neeman tried everything with Pyromancer's Ascension to stay in the game. Witton, that was the game Australia felt they couldn't lose, and the Slovaks felt they could not win. But in the other two, Patrik Surab came through. That left extended with Robert Jurkovic, and he defeats Jeremy Neeman by 2-0, and they have become Team World Champions for 2010. Absolutely outstanding Magic by the Slovak Republic team. So there we are. That is Team Worlds over for another year. I absolutely love the team competition at Worlds. There is so much that is right about the game of Magic in the team competition. There is sportsmanship, there is rivalry that is friendly, there is camaraderie between teams across national borders. There are people who come to Worlds who don't get to go to other Pro Tours. There are people who make a career in Magic out of representing their nation. I think of Saul Alvarado. He's the Panamanian national champion this year. 5 of the last 6 Worlds he's been here. He went 12-6 this weekend. It doesn't put him into the top 8, but it means he's had a great weekend. And once again, he's travelled the world with this game of Magic. And there are so many people over the history of the game who you see coming back for their 3rd, their 4th, their 5th Worlds over the space of a decade. And you think of these people, you know, maybe they start out their 15, 16, and over the space of many of their most formative years, Magic World Championships punctuate their lives, and it's a really, really special thing.
And I think you just need to look at that, you know, last game of that last match in the team finals with Jurkovic flanked by his teammates.
Yes.
As they, you know, sort of puzzle their way through the, you know, the closing moves that will finally secure the team win for the Slovak Republic. It was fantastic.
Absolutely great. Do you know what? That means we've actually got our first world champions of the day. Seems quite a while ago that we were kicking off.
Our second world champion of the day, actually.
Oh, forgetting the Magic Online, Carlos Ramal, the 2002 world champion, comes back in 2010 with the online version, $25,000 richer. Thank you very much, Wizards of the Coast and Magic Online. Second place to Akira Asahara in that contest, $17,000 to him. Okay, so we have a team world champion, and it is the Slovak Republic. 10 minutes from now, we'll start the final match of the 2010 season, unless Guillaume Matignon wins, in which case it'll be the second last match of the 2010 season. But look, go do what you have to do, and join us again in 10.